Hello my fellow Underwearers, this is I, Phantom Cheesecake, and we're back once again with another how to build, just like last week's video, and this week it's on the LEGO Mad Max Ford Falcon. Now this is going to be a pretty long build because there's actually quite a lot of pieces in this car, so I've broken the video up into several sections. Above me right now you can see all these little icons that you can click on and they'll move you to certain sections in the video. So if you're wanting to see how I do a certain bit, just click on that bit there. But I would recommend you watch the video all the way through so you know all the steps and how to build the car at the very end. So the next thing we're going to look at is all the pieces you're going to need for the entire build, but for each section there are going to be a piece layout of everything you need just to build that one bit. So onto what pieces you're going to need. And here are all the pieces you're going to need to build the LEGO Mad Max Ford Falcon. Now, the clips you're seeing in front of you are taken from all the different sections of the video, so you know what parts you're going to need for the entire thing, but in each section I will be showing this clip again so you can organise everything. And if you don't have all these pieces, go to Pick a Brick, it's a description down below, and that's a website where you can get all the pieces you'll need. And now we're going to be moving on to how to build the front of the car. In this section of the video, we're going to be breaking down the front of the car and seeing all the parts we're going to need to construct it. So, let's break it down and see what we got to do. So here are all the pieces you're going to need to build the front of the Mad Max LEGO Ford Falcon. As you can see, these parts are very common, you'll probably have a lot of them. And now, to talk over myself, this is a pre-record, so I can have a drink while I do this. That's better. Oh no, voice is gone. So what we're doing now is attaching all the wheels to the wheel bases. Very simple. Now we're attaching the case wheel arches. Yeah, wheel arches over the wheels. Very simple. It's how you build normal LEGO cars. I'm doing a pre-record because my microphone is away from my camera when I do this, so it makes more sense. Attaching this 1x4 2x1 overhang piece, a 2x2 flat plate to a 2x4 flat plate underneath it. Attaching another 2x4 flat plate underneath that. Sorry if you can hear the water bottle, I need to keep drinking. Sorry about that. A 1x4 plate above the 2x2 plate. There should be a gap in between the two plates. We're adding the lantern headlight pieces. You know what they are. We're attaching two of those. And we're attaching a 4x8, I believe that is, across the 1x4. Filling in the gap between the two lantern pieces with a 1x2 brick, a 2x8 plate above that. Remember, pause the video, rewind it if you don't know what's going on. Now we're building the panels, so that's a 2x2 plate with a 1x2 underneath that plate, and we're attaching them just there. So it's a nice flat surface. If my memory is correct, I think we're moving on to the underside. Yep, this is where you attach the headlights basically. That can be a 1x4 plate. It doesn't have to be that bendy piece, but it's the only one I had in that colour. And then attach another 1x4 plate above that. Attach the Technic movie slanty bit, I don't know what it's called, but you know what it is. Now we're attaching the sloped pieces. We're attaching the two center ones first because the outer two ones hold a curved piece, which we'll do later. We're moving on to the inside and we're attaching the speed gauge, fuel pressure, depending on what you want. You can fit another one to the other side or add another a plate to that with a different decal on it if you want. We're taking a 1x1 stud and putting them there. And we do that on the other side as well, taking a 1x1 plate and putting that on top. I just woke up when I did this, so I'm very tired. If I get a lot of this wrong, I'm sorry. We're putting more plates on. This is a vent grill plate. This is how you attach the antenna from the gear stick bits. You just take the bottom of the gear stick and pull the top bit out and you can get those single pieces. And we just fit them in between the grates. And they hold quite securely. Good for animating because you can get the full range of positioning, and if you don't want to do that you can just use the full gear stick piece in place of that grille. We're attaching the claw pieces either side. These hold on the wing mirrors, which is I believe the last step we do. attaching a 1x4 plate to fill in that gap. That's where the windscreen is going to rest. Oh yeah, I keep looking away because I'm using LDD to look at the step by step, because granted I did do this piece around 7 or 8 times because the camera kept failing to record it. I still have to know what I'm doing. Also, the LDD file is available at the end of the video. Attaching another lantern piece to a 1x1 stud, attaching it to another sloped piece, and then we're taking one of these cheese pieces, attaching that there. Now you want to attach the lantern piece into the center of the slope piece. There's a very center piece. You'll see I'll move this lantern brick across just a little bit into the center. It's very hard to explain where it is, but when you do it you'll know it's the very middle of those pieces. If you have any questions about building this, leave it in the description down below and I will answer those. We're taking a 2x2 plate, attaching a 2x4 plate above that, taking another grey 2x2 plate, putting that above that, and then we're taking the vent piece. We're building the front with the exposed engine cover. We're taking this T-brick, I guess you can call it that, to Technic piece, then some more cheese slopes to round off the edge to make the front of the car look flush. Then we're attaching a 1x1 stud to the top of that T-brick, and then I believe we're now going to place that into the front of the car. It holds quite securely and it's very flush with the car, which is very nice. Sorry if you can hear the chair in the background, it's surprisingly squeaky. Take the other end of the Technic folded piece. I have no idea what that's called, but it's a 1x2 with a Technic clasp on the bottom. This is me looking for a piece. Now, I did this wrong because in my LDD file, you have to use another 1x4 plate to build the front of it. But in the review I did, I didn't have this. That's why I leant over and borrowed a piece. So you don't have to do this bit. You can just take one of the 1x4s from the section we did earlier with the other slanty bit. Don't worry, I go back over that when I realise my mistake. But this is how you do it if you're following the LDD file flat out. You'll need another 1x4 piece, and then you attach it to this front bit. Now, what you will see is there is a gap. A very noticeable gap. That's fine if you're following the LDD file, but my version I don't have that gap because I remove a piece, and I will do that at the end of this video. So we're just attaching the wing mirrors by using a 1x1 plate, attaching it to the hook part, I guess you can call it that, and then we're just angling it so it stays on. We're filling in the other side with a 1x1 stud, then a 1x1 plate. That helps it attach to the inside piece. We're filling in that gap that I left, and then we're filling it in again with the smooth rounded bottom tile. So that just helps with ground clearance and makes everything a bit flatter. And like I said, now I'm going back and changing that because I've realised you don't need that 1x4 plate if you just angle it correctly. It pushes it very close against it and it looks like the pieces are coming off, but it's as flush as you can get it. And as you can see, it's right on the cheese slopes. So yeah, that is how you don't have to use that piece. But if you're using the LDD file, you're going to have to. So there you go. And that is how you build the front of the Mad Max Ford Falcon. And the next section we'll be moving on to is how to build the midsection of the car. In this part of the video, we're going to be doing the interior of the car, which includes the seats and the doors. So let's break it all down and see what we're going to need to put it all back together. And here are all the pieces you're going to need to build your very own interior of the Mad Max Ford Falcon. So pause the video here, arrange all the pieces you need, and let's get on with the build, shall we? If you heard that click, that's me pushing play on the video. Here is the interior piece. It's kind of like a hull piece, kind of flat 4x4 plate. Then we're going to attach a steering wheel to a part of the plate which is 2 studs in. We're now attaching, if I can see, my hand's in the way, a 1x2 plate either side of that steering wheel, just there. I love doing pre-records, it's so much easier. A 1x4 plate above that 2x1 plate, and another one on the other side, kind of mirroring it because this is the interior, so everything is mirrored. It's quite simple, this part of the build, so it won't take this long. I shouldn't have stuck all those pieces down. I remember it being very hard to take off. A 1x8 plate to make everything flat and flush, so you should get this layered effect. Doing the same on the other side. I'm regretting to stick all the pieces down. And now I move on to the next part of the LVD file I'm using for instructions. We're taking a 1x3 plate and another 1x3 plate and sticking it onto the 1x4 plate so everything is level now. Focusing the camera. We're attaching a 1x1 stud, mirroring it to either side. And then we're attaching a 2x4 plate onto those studs, so it's slightly raised. This helps for later on. We're attaching a 1x4 brick onto the underside. We're taking a gear stick, lever, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I still don't know which one is the right one. To the side of the steering wheel, taking a 1x4 brick with the studs on the side, and putting a 1x8 plate, well that rhymes I think, to the side of that, and attaching that in the center of the 1x8 plate with studs. And guess what? We're doing the same on the other side. So it kind of looks like a boat, I think, or like the hull of a boat. We're taking a 1x4 flat plate and doing the same on both sides. Sometimes I think doing pre-record commentary is kind of pointless. Taking a slanted 1x2 plate, putting that either side. That's for the wheelbase so the wheels don't get stuck. Because when you think about it, you're kind of just watching me talk about this. I mean, you know what's going on. But I guess I'm only doing this for my sanity, probably. I take another slanted 1x2 plate with a 1 stud bearing at the top, so it's kind of slants upwards. Taking a 1x4 brick and doing the same, and taking a 1x4 plate, attaching it to that, so everything's flush at the top. Yeah, it's looking more like a boat. We're nearing the end of this part of the section. Now we're just building the chair, so take these headlight lantern pieces and a 1x2 plate. So you've got something that looks like this, kind of like the front of a robot. Then take this, I have no idea how to explain that piece, and attach a piece that I can explain, a 2x2 flat plate and a 1x1 square stud. Turn it the other way around, put it into that hole, lock it in. Now attach the studs on that side to the stud holes in there, feed it from the underneath. When you turn it around, you'll get a lovely chair. Isn't that cool? So there you go, that's everything you want to do to build the interior of the LEGO Mad Max Ford Falcon. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Not the simplest thing we'll be doing today, so on to the roof. In this part of the video, we're going to be breaking down the top of the car, so that's the roof and the windscreen, seeing all the parts we're going to need, and exactly how we're going to put it all back together. And these are all the pieces you're going to need to build your own Mad Max Ford Falcon roof. It's not the most exciting thing I'll ever say in my life, but I made it. And the first thing you're going to do is take a 2x4 plate. I started this way too enthusiastically. And a 1x4 flat plate, another 1x4 flat plate. I'm going to calm down now, because I've got a lot more of this to record after this. A 1x4 plate onto the other side of those, so you've got this weird eye thing. Then taking these 1x4 slanted tiles, putting them either side, so you've got a that thing looking shape. Taking a 1x4 plate and attaching that to the underside so it looks flush at the top. So loads of cheese plates. Basically, this is what this section is. It's cheese slopes. We're filling in that top bit with all the cheese slopes that are currently available on that board. And we're nearly done. That's absolutely fantastic. I might grab the wing mirror piece right now. Yeah, I am. Because it's kind of good to have it right now because it helps hold everything together, and you kind of need it for the roof, and me being a genius forgot to put that in. But don't worry, the last clip will be me attaching this whole thing together with a windscreen piece. We're attaching some 1x8 tiles and plates across in a H-like pattern, and then attaching some 1x2 plates at the end to sort of flush. attaching the top roof piece onto the top, so everything's nice and flush. You might want to remove the windscreen because we use it in the later piece. I just used it to hold everything together, and that is how you build the roof of the LEGO Mad Max Ford Falcon. Possibly the easiest of all the steps today. So, on to the back of the car. And in this part of the video, we're going to be breaking down the back of the car, seeing all the parts that we need to build it, and then we're going to see how we're going to put it all back together again. So, let's break it down and see how it's put together. And here are all the pieces you're going to need to build the rear end of the LEGO Mad Max Ford Falcon. So, pause the video here, look at if you've got everything, pick a brick in the description down below, and if we've got everything, let's get started. Now, if you didn't notice there, I did just click my mouse to play the video, because it's a pre-recorded audio. If you haven't guessed that already. So we're going to take these wheel arches and attach a 2x3 plate above it, and another 2x3 plate, but this time underneath the original 2x3 plate. I've learnt all the names of these pieces doing this today. Take a 1x2 plate with studs either side and attach a 1x2 brick to the bottom side of that last brick, and attach it to the wheel arch thing we just made. Making sure, which I haven't done here, and I'm about to correct when I realise it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, puzzled. How does this... Oh, other way around. There we go. Making sure that the connector is facing outwards. Attach your coloured brick to the outside. It can be any colour, so I've used red and yellow for this, just so you can see the difference. Add a 1x4 flat tile and add a 1x2 to the back of that. Now we're going to kind of be mirroring everything we do here, so it's kind of self-explanatory. So we're adding the coloured brick again, so we're going to be building up to a secure base. There's a lot of hang time in these things. Again, we're doing the same thing we did earlier. I don't need to comment over this. So yeah, for the next, I don't know, 30 seconds, I've kind of got nothing to say. So remember to like and subscribe. Yeah, for my sanity at least, because I'm going insane doing this. Oh, this is important. This is because I ran out of 2x3 bricks, so I'm having to use these L pieces. So if you have a 2x3 brick, use those instead. And I'm holding it there because the next step gets a 2x2 flat tile and joins those two pieces together. At the moment this build is very flimsy because there's no backbone, or both sides aren't connected yet, so soon it will be, but right now be very careful when building. Attaching a 2x2 plate underneath that, we're bridging the gap as you can see. We are adding a 2x2 brick to the underside. This helps later on for reinforcing all the pieces. As you can see, it falls off really easily, so we've got to be very, very careful. Add in the other wheel arch to the other side. That helps hold together the L pieces, but if you're using a 3x2 tile, you should be fine. And there's a flat piece, and we're adding those to the bottom, just so you've got something that breaks up the line of colour between the rear lights. I'm going to flip it over once again, and we're looking at the back plate. We're going to be filling in the gaps either side of those lighted tiles and adding a grate piece over them. And then we're going to do the same on the other side, I believe. Or are we... No, we're reinforcing the back still. I don't remember what I did. It was yesterday when I did this. Again, now it's quite secure this, we've bridged the gap. But still very flimsy, so be careful when building. Now we're adding the tiles to the back. I make a few mistakes in this build, I'm not going to lie, so watch it all the way through once, then go back to it. Then we're just filling in the gap with a 1x2 tile there, so everything is now flat, I believe, apart from the two bits at the side, which we're now filling in with another 1x2 tile. And another 1x2 tile. By the way, if you're doing this, don't stick all the pieces down, because they ruin your nails, and they can lead to cuts, which I have on my thumb right now, so careful. Now we're just adding some tiles, some grate pieces, just some decal really. Adding a chair back plate that holds the side of the tank in place. Well, looks like it does anyway. Now we're filling in the sides I believe we're adding the grate piece like we did earlier. Now I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, we're taking 1x1 tiles and sticking them either side. Are we doing that? No, we're doing the cheese slopes. A lot of cheese slopes in this build, so have fun finding them. I ran out of cheese slopes with this build in this colour. What are we doing now? Taking a 1x2 tile and filling in the gaps either side of those cheese slopes, as you can see. And okay. Oh, I don't know if I'll keep that in or not. I might do. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Adding another cheese slope there. This helps build up the ridge going up the back of the car. Doing the same on the other side. Like I said, mirrored for the outside pieces. So there's going to be a quick jump cut there because the camera died. Yeah, we haven't done any extra steps. The second I realised is I stopped building and I undid some pieces, but we should be back to exactly where we are. So what we're doing right now is we are filling in the gaps. We're adding some cheese slopes to the sides. We've got the tail of the car done. Like I said, don't stick these down, take forever to come off. A 1x3 tile. Another 1x3 tile. Again, I'm pressing the next button on the LDD file. Getting this 3 long slope piece. They're very hard to find, I found, but in that colour as well, so have fun looking for those. Now we're doing the wheels. Attaching the wheels to the wheel hubs, the tyres to the inside pieces, all that, etc, etc. You know how these work. Generic Lego wheels. Attaching them to the underside, like so. Now remember, if you've got any questions on this how to build, just drop a comment down below and I will answer them as soon as possible. But don't forget there is an LDD file if you're wanting to follow some steps at home. Links at the end of the video. We're taking the overhang piece with a 2x2 plate and a 1x1 plate, attaching that to the top, and then taking a flat 1x2 plate, and this is where I realised this is the bonnet, not bonnet. This is where I realised this is the license plate piece, so we're going to put the yellow plate on. I didn't colour it in my LDD file, that's why I made the mistake. Attach that to the bottom piece, like so. Very finicky, you'll find it just fits and you've got to find the right location, but when it's in there it's nice and secure. I recommend getting a custom printed license plate for that bit because it looks a bit cooler. So we're really just doing the detail parts now, which is quite cool. We're adding the wheel to the chain. That chain came with the Metalbeard, I think his name is, from the Lego movie. Yeah, that's part of his set. Some of the spares you get. A 2x1 piece. Now the thing I'm doing here is you can do it like this. It does involve you having to use other pieces, but reorganizing everything so it works is kind of what you got to do. So we're attaching it like so. Very finicky, very hard to get in the right place, but once you do, it sits nicely. So there we go. It's coming along very nicely, this build. Again, I haven't color corrected the wheel because I can't find another black arch, but if you want to, I would. Or if you want to go with more of a damaged look, keep it, because it kind of fits. Now we're doing the gas canister, water storage canister, nitrous canister, I don't know what, it's a canister to the back of his car. That's what we're currently building now. And make sure you put the stud in the right place because I kept making that mistake and I realised that here. So we move it over to the side like so. And now we're going to be building up the plate section so it sits nicely in the car. Taking these two 1x2 plates, attaching them to the bottom so the car becomes, so it's flat at the bottom like that. Now I borrow, I don't see if you saw my hand gestures there, a 1x4 plate from the windscreen here because I did my calculations wrong. I used the wrong bits in the wrong parts because in my LDD file I used a lot less parts than I did in real life. So I'm going to be making that mistake in about 3, 2, 1 now. I've realised my mistake, I think. So I'm slowly trying to take a piece off a windscreen right now. That's why my hand keeps disappearing. I'm trying to do it very subtly. I'm not really doing it that subtly at all. Attach this 1x1 gas gauge piece. There you go, that's the piece I borrowed from the windscreen. Attach that at the back. Now if you follow the steps like that, that's a perfect fit. Just so you need an extra 1x4 tile. But with the pieces I have laid out here, and I'm presuming the pieces you gathered at home if you're following along with this video, not the LDD file, you're going to have to do it a different way. We'll talk about that later. Now we're attaching to this 2x4 plate these handlebar pieces and attaching these robot claws to those. If you can't tell already, these are for the exhaust pipes, which are at the side of the car. These do get very finicky and can fall off really easily if you're not careful, so gently does it. Just like that piece there. So we're just attaching these Technic pins to the sides of them like that. So you have 3 on each side for a total of 6. We're attaching another 2x4 plate to that. Kind of looks like a spider without, 2 legs. Attach that to the bottom side like that, nice and secure. And that is basically it if you're following my bodged tutorial. Unless we're gonna add some bottom plates like we did at the front. This just helps hold the bottom in and they just fit on nicely like so. We flip it over, and this is where I realise I have 2 extra pieces at the end. So I'm slowly thinking, how have I done that? And I believe I figured that out about now-ish. This is me taking it apart because I've realised if you move some pieces around, you can fit that. So that 1x4 plate there, we can take off, and I believe I will eventually. God, I took a long time filming this. We take that piece off, the gas canister. Remove this 1x4 tile, like so. Take off this piece here. And now some rearranging is in order. So we take this L piece, clip that on there, take the piece we used earlier, put that there, and this 1x1 plate tile, just there, attach the gas canister, and then attach the rope with the tire on, and because of how it's laid out you can't see it, so it's good for saving pieces in the right colour, and that can go back to the windscreen. So that's how you build the back of the Lego Mad Max Ford Falcon. And in the next section, we're going to put it all back together again. And that is how you build a Lego Mad Max Ford Falcon. Now, if you want to make any of this your own, there's an LDD file, and all you got to do is go down into the description down below. There's my mock pages, and you click on that, and that will take you to the page where I've got my Mad Max. There's an LDD file on there, which you can take and download. If you make any modifications or make it yourself, why not send me a picture on my Twitter? The link is in the description down below and on the screen right now. And if you don't have all the pieces available, and you don't have LDD, I recommend Pick-a-Brick. Link in the description down below for them as well. It's a place where you can get all the bricks you need in various colours and assortments. It's a really good place to get little detailed pieces which you might not have. So that is the entire how to build. If you liked it, leave a like, comment down below what I think I should do next. Go to my reviews, tell me which review item that I should make into a how to build, and I'll see you all in whatever video I make next. Outro music, engage.